Steve Sloan of Madisonville Marine once told me that the goal of Madisonville Marine is not to sell people boats. It's to sell people the right boat for them. That's special, folks. And at Madisonville Marine, they can show you more different brands and different models of boats than anyone else in East Tennessee, from Georgia to Nashville. So get the right boat for you. That's what Steve Sloan and his team, Joe Special and the crew down there, all do at Madisonville Marine. Find more at madmarine.com or get down there to Highway 411 North in Madisonville. Okay, when Tennessee fired Rod Delmonico, we talked about on this show and wondered how a school could nuke a guy who had taken it to 3 of its 4 in history trips to the College World Series. I know the APR scores were an issue. Rod wasn't exactly the song and dance man that loved to go out and do the promotions thing, and for some reason there's a group of people here that want you to be you have to be an entertainer, not just a coach. But the Todd Raleigh hire to replace him was awful. Dave Serrano made sense on every level. He'd won, he'd been a coach here, but it hasn't worked. They've lost their last 2 games to LSU. They're not going to make the SEC tournament more than likely. He's under 500 by about 7 or 8 games now, 5th year. His contract is up at the end of the year, so it's doubtful he will be renewed. I would be shocked if he's renewed. But my question, can UT ever be a consistent national power in baseball? Should that be the goal, a realistic goal? Obviously, national championship every year is your goal. Realistic goal, can Tennessee ever be a national power consistently?
Well, if you say why couldn't they, I say look at Vanderbilt. You hire the right, Tennessee, Vanderbilt got the same weather thing going on, late starts, but you look at Vanderbilt, hiring the right coach, Tim Corbin, made all the difference in the world. And so yes, they could be. I don't know that should necessarily be your goal, but they could be.
Okay. Yeah.
Ever's a long time, so I wouldn't say they never could. I can't see it anytime soon because it hasn't worked with Dave Serrano, because everything on paper said this is going to be a big-time success, and it hasn't. So I can't point to anything in the near future, especially because of Vanderbilt where it is right now, that Tennessee would get there.
There are going to be some people that say, well, you were a consistent national power under Rod Delmonico, but let's go back and look at his record. It was very good, too good to have been fired. But if we've got that, there we go. He was here from 1990 to 2007, won the SEC championship 94-95, won the tournament 93, 94, 95. Never again. NCAA tournament trips 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. 5 straight years. Then you went without until 2001. Then you went in 2004 and 2005, didn't go in 06, 07. College World Series, though, 95, 01, 05. So after 97, it started to drop off. But the thing is, it's the equivalent of making the Final Four every 3 or 4 years in basketball. If you got a guy, it's one thing to drop off.
Or the Elite Eight, at least.
Yeah, but if you're, well, that's their championship rounds, what I'm saying. But yeah, okay, at least the Elite Eight. You're not going to fire a basketball coach who's down for a couple of years, then goes to the Elite Eight or Final Four and back again. But when you look at that, obviously that wasn't considered a consistent power. Not enough. There weren't people filling the stadium. For all the people that are now saying never should have fired him, there were a lot of people who were saying fire him back then. Tennessee should never finish 5th in the division, that kind of stuff. There were plenty of people who didn't support Rod Delmonico at the time. But that was a 5-year span where I think you could say, yep, NCAA tournament every year, that's dominant. Is that the best that can be expected? Or do you think you could do better than that?
I think that's about the best you can be expected here. And part of, and I don't want to take anything away from Rod Delmonico, but part of his success, look at the major league talent that you had playing in Knoxville at one time that he got on that team. It was quite incredible.
Dickie Trammell Helton was a pretty good triumvirate there.
It was amazing, and there were other guys in Knoxville who made it to the majors out of that same era.
Those 3, those were the guys there at that 93, 94, 95 kind of period.
And so I think, and unfortunately Knoxville's had some good players come out recently, but they are going to Vanderbilt. But I think it's hard to think that Tennessee will be a national power.
I don't even think you have much of a shot to be a one-year wonder anymore. That's like a one-year.
Okay, but we're talking if you go out and hire the right coach, can you be a national power? Better than what Delmonico did?
SEC tournament ought to be your goal every year.
Can you do better than 5 NCAA tournaments in a row?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I mean, the SEC traditionally is tougher in baseball than it is in football. And I think it's a little bit down this year compared to what it is. And I think, too, for the people at home, baseball is the toughest sport to me because here got the competition. You only have 11.7 scholarships. Major League Baseball has like a zillion rounds in the draft.
But that does play the same for everyone.
It does. It does.
Everyone's got
but
to-
I mean, all of those things are working against Tennessee. Todd Raleigh only won 37% of the SEC games.
Well, let me
That's what we're at now.
Let me show something. Dave Serrano, I'm tired of hearing this. You hear people who are ill-informed who say, well, anyone could have won at those schools he won at. No, not so. For those of you that don't have a clue about Cal Irvine but still make that comment, Cal Irvine didn't play baseball from 93 to 01. Didn't have baseball. He's better. He was better than his predecessor. He went to a College World Series, had a great record. His replacement, for anybody can win at Cal Irvine, since he's been gone, they've only been to one World Series. He was there. He went to one in 3 years. They've been to one since he left. Cal Fullerton, traditional, powerful program. That one's true. But they've only been to one World Series since he's been here. So the idea that, oh yeah, well, he just coached these great teams. Anybody could do that. Those programs. Cal Irvine, they couldn't. And at Cal State Fullerton, they haven't done better than Serrano since he left in terms of those College World Series appearances. So those people that say, well, it wasn't that great a hire, I knew it all along, you're lying or you're dumb. One or the other. When you hear somebody saying that, look at them and say, you're lying or you're dumb. And if they hit you, that's your fault, not mine.
I'll bring him back.
Delmonico?
No.
Serrano? You would bring him back?
I'd go ahead and bring him back. I'd sign him to another 2-year contract because I don't think coach-wise you're going to do any better. And it may not get any better, but I mean, do you just go out and?
Well, Bob,
Fishing again.
in his defense, his son was the best pitcher. He gets hurt early in the season. They haven't had him. The second baseman was your best player on the team, one of the top, 2 or 3. He's been out for the season. So you can make a case. Injuries also had an impact.
I like
there.
Dave Serrano. That's a sport that, okay, you're not winning, so you get 1,200 people over there. You're winning big, you're going to get 2,400 people over there. To me, I wouldn't break my back as an AD over a baseball coach. However, you got to see some progress, and you haven't out of Dave Serrano.
And we've been talking to Peyton Manning. Maybe Todd Helton would want to coach.
At some point, I have to finish this segment. Okay. When we come back, we will talk about Jalen Reed-Maven's coming back. We'll talk about lawsuits, whispers of a settlement talk, and also Vols had a big man in basketball. We'll race through it all. Come on back at Sports Source.